MotoVagabondNate rides Tenerife from north to south in a drive-thru of Teide National Park. It's your MotoVagabondNate watching the sunrise over Tenerife, as today's mission is to complete a trip from the north to the south of Tenerife. Our journey starts with a 69-kilometer cruise through the capital city of Santa Cruz to San Andreas and into the mountains. It's 8:20, the sun's up, and we're headed north. To start our journey, we gotta jump on TF1. Let's see how this 7 horsepower does for us today. Kilometers, not miles per hour. I continued down TF1 towards Santa Cruz and then jumped off on TF4. Coming up into the city. There's a lot of industrial stuff going on over here. A lot of cruise ships when we get to the port on the other side, and look at that big beautiful thing. Some kind of amphitheater. We cruise right by the Auditorio de Tenerife Adán Martín. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I'm trying to get. The top of those big pointy mountains over there to start our journey. If my 7.2 horsepower makes it up the hills. I'm sure that's some type of historic landmark. We've reached San Andreas and begin our curvaceous trek up TF12. Then we head north to the northernmost drivable part on the island. Let the fun begin. Found a place to pull over to admire the view and how the road almost eats itself. Quick break to enjoy the view. I'm not even up the mountain yet, but that is the route that we took. We still have plenty to finish. We just turned on the TF 123. And there's an overlook. I'm gonna pull over right here and see what it looks like. Yeah, baby. The other side of the island. Below lies the city of Tagana, but we gotta keep pressing on to get to the starting line. I gotta keep it easy on these old Chinese tires. I can see the green slime on the road, reminding me of stories Jim Elliott told me of his time crossing New Zealand on 2 wheels. When I reach the bottom of the hill, I find myself in the small village of Chamorga, where I will find the end of the road and the start of today's adventure. This is the end of TF 123 and the beginning of today's adventure from the north to the south of Tenerife. Chamorga. So we made it to the northernest part of the island. You can see there wasn't a large town. I think it's mostly consisting of hiking and biking trails. But it's nestled in this nice little valley. Continue down that way. You can see the Atlantic Ocean over there. So we're going to take our time to head back up the slippery slope that we just slid down. It was 12 kilometers. Let's take a second to enjoy our surroundings. All right, here we go. From all the way north, now heading all the way south. the next thing over, only 2 kilometers up the mountain. I stopped to pull over and show you this view. And tell you a sad story. I came here with a drone. I'm leaving without one functional. Evidently the police have some kind of device that shoots them right out of the sky, and I happened to be right over the Atlantic Ocean when that happened. Another guy behind me had a DJI Neo and it landed it right in the beach. I said, man, you don't want to land a drone in the beach. Wasn't his choice, wasn't mine either. I continued up the road as the sun came out, burning off the morning mist, creating a whole new atmosphere for me to enjoy. Up near the intersection of TF12 and TF123, way in the distance you can see Santa Cruz. I try to take in the history by learning more from the information kiosk, but some things get lost in translation. I don't understand the proprietary rain ritual of blowing the cattle. Pretty spectacular to be able to look over the edge of the road and see the Atlantic Ocean on one side. Look over on the other side of the road and see the Atlantic on the other side. These overlooks are no joke. It looks beautiful, but when you look straight down, whew. I continue down the spine of the mountains of the Parque Rural de Anaga. You know me, always taking advantage of being able to park my bike in some strange new place. This time, a cave. My ride through Anaga was coming to an end as I approached the Mirador de Jardinha, the garden gazebo. We're now overlooking the city of La Laguna, which will be the next destination on our trek from north to south in Tenerife. So this place has turned into a complete zoo of tourists. It's like heyday of rental cars and overlooks being packed full. But that's because we're 2 kilometers from La Laguna. We know La Laguna. We're gonna slip through the city real quick, get on TF24, which takes us all the way across to Teide. We just popped on to 113. So that puts us going through La Laguna. We're out in the residential area right now. I'll pop back in when we get into the city. All right, here we are in La Laguna. We're at the back of the fish and meat market over here. You can smell it coming. Oh, little rough roads. Gets a little confusing in here sometimes because you don't know when to stop and when to go. We're gonna come up with tons of tourists, I'm sure, soon, and you can't tell if you're going down the street or going down the sidewalk. That completes our tour of the city, so it's time to jump on the roundabout that takes us over to TF24. We just got on TF24, we're leaving La Laguna, coming up to the Airport Norte, the North Airport on Tenerife. 43 more kilometers of this. Easy peasy. So they definitely have an African immigration problem. Once you got through the city, boom, it turns into African immigrant land over here. Oh boy. A nice change. We're starting to get some elevation again. Getting some of these funky trees. I like it. Big arbol. Grande arbol. And here's the problem with 7.5 horsepower. I had the super long straightaway where I could pass a couple cars, but you just full stick, nothing happens. I can't even gain on the car in front of me when we're going uphill. And we're going uphill the whole time. So for the next like 20 kilometers, I'm kind of stuck. We're about halfway between Teide and La Laguna. This is what you can expect to see. Now I'm getting into my happy zone. Open roads and tons of trees. From way up here, the easterly view of the Atlantic Ocean is blocked as clouds fill the valley. But as we continue on the trail, Teide reveals itself for the first time. Mount Teide is the third highest and most voluminous volcanic structure in the world. I've now officially entered Teide National Park, and I'm ready to give you a complete tour from one side to the other. First, we'll cruise by the Teide Observatory. Mount Teide maintains its natural light influence and has been awarded the Starlight certification, making it the perfect place for stargazing. Next, we turn on to TF21, where the tourism really picks up, with packs of motorcycles, local eateries, large tour buses, and even packs of safari jeeps. As our elevation increases, the temperature decreases. You can tell by seeing the packs of snow on the side of the road. My first stop was the San Jose mines, where they say the conditions are similar to the moon. The kiosk even said they tested vehicles for the moon here. They say we should feel like we're on Mars here. But there's too many people. The next stop teaches us about how magma flows and the local vegetation at El Tabanal Negro. From here, we can also get our first look at the infamous Teide cable car, as well as the highest restaurant in Spain, which I've had the pleasure of enjoying. Teleférico del Pico del Teide. Continuing down 21, the ride takes us past the National Park Visitor Center and the Roques de Garcia, the Rocks of Garcia. The road follows this lava flow and carries us down to our next destination, Lavas Negras. Lavas Negras was formed from the most recent eruption of Teide in 850 AD. Evidently, everybody loves the Lavas Negros, which is the black lava. I'm back here at the bottom of Teide, and I realize this is about the time I have 4 horsepower. No more 7 horsepower. We're between 6,000 and 7,000 feet all this time, so mucho. All these bicyclists, but it's pretty terrain out here. I'm gonna be heading up that road and going down towards Los Americas. Imagine that. TF21 takes a southeasterly turn to my favorite part of the ride so far. So now we're headed down the mountain. Even though we're going up, we gotta go up again to go back down. Should be some incredible views up over this bend up here. So I just hit my favorite section of the island. It has this smell where it had a forest fire last year and the trees were scorched on the outside, but everything else is staying alive inside. But the smell of the trees is just intense. It's really the first place on the island that I've been like, oh, these are the trees that I want to be in. Up in the north there's a lot of trees, but it's very wet. Like even the road is covered in mildew because everything's wet all the time. So it's a different type of smell. Breathe it in, boys. And this is the end. Now it's time for the great descent. Over 7,000 feet of elevation lost in less than an hour. In just 15 minutes, we lost massive elevation, and through the haze, we could see our final goal, the Atlantic Ocean. Let's keep heading down this curvaceous road and try to break in the edge of these tires. Get a little rip going. Don't really trust the tires on this motorcycle, but we'll give it a go until we slide off the edge. And you slide off the edge here, you're going down a big edge. I mean, I just have no power. Nothing. And I'm going downhill. I can't catch anybody this way. We've now reached 2,600 feet and are 23 kilometers away from Los Christianos. About 8 kilometers from Los Christianos, which will be the southern tip of the island. Stop to disrobe and take some of the heated layers out because the soul is upon us. We're now within eyesight of our destination. Woo, that's a lot of hotels! I wiggle through the busy streets packed with roundabout after roundabout and have now reached Los Christianos. Stuff. Let's see, lots of stuff. Same stuff you see in every city around here. Just stuff. Now I'm gonna get to the bottom of this, get as close as I can to the water, and then I'm out of here. This is the end. My only friend, the end. And we just finished this 136 kilometer tour from north to south in 3 hours and 55 minutes. Hotels, people trying to hustle, trinkets, Chinese trash. Let's go back up to the woods. Stay tuned to your MotoVagabondNate channel as next we go to Morocco to travel 7 days on an R1250 GS.